Is this the Rookie CEO podcast?
Yeah, I think we're in the right place.
Oh, Hev, it's recording. This is Fuzz.
And I'm Heath, and you're listening to the Rookie CEO podcast. Today, we are with Dan Francis from Level Up Leads. So hello, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So Dan, tell us a little bit about your business, what you do, just a general SEO world.
Yeah, perfect. So Level Up we're a fully blown SEO agency based over in Rochester. So what SEO is and what the practice is we basically help businesses get more visibility on Google, but now transitioning into AI as well. So the higher you are on Google, the more visibility you've got, the more phone calls you're going to get, the more website clicks you're going to get, stuff like that. Easiest way I always explain it, if you owned a shop, if you was a shop owner and you was based down a dingy little high street, right down the bottom, the footfall you get would be minimal, and the footfall you do get is not going to be your ideal clientele. If you'd done nothing different but pick that shop up and move it to Bluewater, your sales are going to increase because of visibility. And that's what SEO is. We're basically getting your shop from a high street, dingy little high street, to a high-end shopping centre.
Amazing.
I think what the sort of like the myths are in the background, that people assume that they can manage it themselves, they assume that they know what they're doing, and they don't really get anywhere. And that's when they start to go, right, I think I need to start outsourcing this now. But what I would love to know, and what this episode's going to be about, SEO DIY. What can our listeners do with the access that they have to the website, to their Google business profile, to really try and boost their rankings themselves?
Yeah, so one of the easiest things you can do to try and get a grips of what SEO is, there's so much content out there on YouTube, and that's what I did when I very, very first dipped my toe in the SEO world, was just go on YouTube and just watch experts breaking it down. So there is content out there, but the simplest way to explain it from a local SEO point of view, consistency is the key. Consistency is the winner. So you can do weekly post updates on the Google business profile. Not a lot of people know you can do this, but we always say we treat it a little bit like a social media account. You can get a nice image, you can go on Canva, you can take your images yourself, depends what you do. If you're out on the tools, it's very easy to take a picture of a before and after of a house. If you're in an office, it's a little bit different, but you can still do things branded with your logo, etc. You know ideally what keywords you want to rank for. If you're a plumber and you're based in Gillingham, you want to be ranking for the keyword plumber in Gillingham. So when you're doing the post updates, you want to try and naturally include them keywords as much as you can, and just do it consistently. And it doesn't happen overnight, but if you're consistent and you do at least one post a week, after about 3 or 4 months, you will notice a little bit of a difference. So that's the first thing you can do from a local, quick and easy win point of view. Secondly, there are tools out there. So we use SEMrush. We're on quite a high paid plan, but when anyone starts, you do get like a free trial. And I think sort of the entry level to a package is around sort of £80 a month. So it's not too punchy. Again, they've got all the tutorials on there, and you can go and really do keyword research to fully understand what you're trying to rank for, because the way keywords work is you have something called a keyword difficulty. So if you're in a really saturated area, so let's say you're trying to rank for plumber in Kent, you're going up against thousands of plumbers. You'll have plumbers out there that have been doing SEO for 20 plus years. You're never going to outrank them, basically. So what SEMrush does is you can type in the keyword you want to rank for, and it will show you how much search volume it gets each month and how difficult it is to rank for. Now, anything over, it goes in a traffic light system, so it's easy to see, but anything that's over sort of 20% for a relatively new business, that keyword's no good. So what you want to do is SEMrush will show you a variation of them keywords that may have a search volume of, say, anywhere between 10 and 50, but that you can rank for today. So overnight, you're literally starting to generate some organic traffic. Okay. That is in turn improving your sort of trust with Google. Yeah. So over time, you can start ranking. So they're probably the easiest things you can do. Being very, very consistent with post updates and trying to get a good understanding on keyword research through using a tool like SEMrush.
God, I find this absolutely fascinating. I mean, I work in social media, but SEO is just a whole different
I think that's something that is so overlooked, and even for someone who does social media marketing could get involved with that Google aspect. But what I'm really interested in is with a Google business profile, and I'm hoping your listeners out there, if you haven't got a Google business profile, even if you are trying to cover the UK or the world, it's really nice to have a location.
Absolutely.
But updating those little updates that people don't even know that they're there, I don't think. right at the bottom normally, aren't they?
Yeah.
Of your Google Business profile. What sort of reach are you looking at from a Google Business profile? Is it a county? Is it a city?
It depends. So you can broaden the reach of your Google Business profile by doing SEO on your website as well. So predominantly, Google Business profile is a map. It's Google Maps. So if you've got a physical address attached to that, that is beneficial because you're automatically going to rank higher in your immediate town, if that makes sense. You get a lot of trades businesses that can't have an address on there, so they're classed as a service area business, so they will say cover the area of Kent, for argument's sake. It's always a little bit more difficult, but generally speaking, if you just done Google Business optimization, you can only really get as far as, say, like your immediate town and a couple of neighbouring towns around that. However, on the website, if you was to create individual location pages, that then tells Google that you then also cover them areas. And then what you can do, again, what a lot of people don't know about, is on Google Business Profile, you have a product section. Now, people think that's only applicable for if you sell a physical product. So if you're a photographer and you, or an IT company, you sell hardware, you can put, you sell laptops.
Yeah.
But you can, a product is your service. So you can put on there plumbing in Rochester, for argument's sake, if you have that dedicated location page, and then you can link the two together. So Google Business will start to understand that you offer that particular service in that location. Therefore, your Google profile will start to expand.
Oh, wow.
If that makes sense.
That's amazing stuff, really, isn't it? And it is stuff that people can do. They probably will need some support and stuff, but it's really good. And what I love about you, Dan, and the way that you approach things is very transparent. You don't try and like pull the wool over anyone's eyes and say like, I'm the expert, listen to me. It's like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think there is a lot of distrust around SEO, and I don't know kind of where that's come from. I don't know if it's because a lot of people worry that it's being outsourced overseas, or kind of where this is misconceptions come from.
I think, SEO traditionally can be very, very expensive. Like we are, for local SEO, our pricing is very, very affordable. I think everyone we speak to, they're like, oh, wow, it really is achievable. But most people that have done SEO have already dabbled in it in the past, and they might have been with an agency that they spent a couple of grand a month with, because traditionally it can be that expensive. And SEO, I always say to my clients, there's nothing I can physically give you, like for you guys, like you do social media, they can physically go and see that you've posted on Instagram, you do a video, they can see that. But with SEO, I can't physically give them a product. It's all about showing them graphs. But what I always say to my clients is, no one cares about a graph. Do you know what I mean? I can tell I've done this technical SEO and we've done that. No one really cares. What you care as a business owner is how many website clicks you're getting, how many phone calls you're getting, and where you're ranking locally. So I think a lot of people in the past have paid quite a bit of money and they've literally seen no results. Hence why people are sceptical of it. So I think that
it all leads into one. I think that's the reason why is you could probably get loads of results from a graph perspective, but if your website's not great, then you're not going to get those leads.
Exactly.
Or if the next step in that customer journey isn't great, let's just say your call to action on your website is to give us a call, and then who's answered the phone call is very sort of antisocial, doesn't know how to speak to people.
Exactly.
You've lost the lead straight away.
Yeah.
So I think SEO, it is such a broad sort of term, I think.
It is. And another thing on the Google Business Profile, because there are certain industries where social media work different. Say, for argument's sake, we work with a couple of aesthetic businesses. They get most of their new business through their social channels. And one of my clients, we had a conversation a little while ago, and she was like, I'm not too sure if the Google business side of thing is working. She's getting traffic and everything. She's getting a handful of clients, but she's like, I get so much more from socials. And the way I said to her, I said, I can pretty much guarantee, I reckon 50% of the people that find you on socials are then Googling you, and they're seeing that your Google Business Profile is fully complete, it's weekly updated, you're collecting your reviews, which is a big thing. So the Google Business Profile is paired with your social media without you even realising, because people are cross-referencing to make sure that you have a presence online, not just one particular platform. And I always say to people, like you said, it's double-edged sword. Like, there's no point doing SEO and being at the top of Google if you've got under 5 reviews and your website is slow and it doesn't say, it's just not going to convert. So you have to do a little bit of everything to make it work.
Hey Hev, have you heard of IT Managed Services? They're an IT support service based in Kent.
Yeah, I've been with them for over a year now. I love being able to just call them at any point and they take over my computer and fix the issue so much quicker than spending hours on Google.
Why have you kept that to yourself all this time? Right, I need to sign up to these guys. What's their website?
It's it-ms.co.uk or you can call 01634 218 362.
One thing that we've not really touched on yet, and a lot of people are trying to do it themselves, are blogs. People love a blog. People fully aware now that AI is a thing, and that will just type in ChatGPT, I need this blog, and they just copy and paste it directly onto their website.
Well,
What's your views?
I'm also on this. I get a lot of clients thinking they need to be putting general business updates on these blogs as well. But I know, well, from working with you on clients, I know you'd probably suggest differently on that.
I just always say in the nicest way, a news update for your business you're posting about is important because it's your business. No one cares. No one's Googling, how's Fuzzy's week been this week? Like, they're not. I'm at that part.
We're not searching it, but we're gonna find out anyway.
Yeah. Whoa. But it's true though, you know, Pete. So you want to do blogs that are, number one, everything now, the way the Google algorithm works and the way AI works is it shows content that provides genuine value. So people ask the internet questions, and realistically a blog wants to answer that question. So when people write their own blogs and they do news updates, you can do them, like of course you can, like it's your business, but they're never going to get you any additional traffic. No. And when people try and be a little bit clever with it and they might do a bit of DIY SEO and they start to see that, you know, if you target blogs around the most commonly asked questions and they just do a generic AI one, it will actually do more harm than good. Like we use AI, of course we do. Like I don't know, like every industry is different. I'm never going to know as much as what the business owner does. So we use AI to give us facts and information, etc. But we almost have like a 20-piece prompt that has taken 6 months to get right, that still has human sort of editing at the end of it. And at the end of it, the blog will be a blog that appears in Google AI overviews, which you have to be in going into 2026. If you're not in them, you might as well forget about it. You want to go on ChatGPT and all the other language learning modules, and you still want to rank organically on Google. So yeah, blogs, I always say to people, you can do your blog yourself, but you're just wasting your time. Like you might as, like there's almost no point in doing that.
So we've touched on blogs, which is obviously a big pillar.
Yeah.
We've touched on Google Business Profile and keywords, which is one of the biggest things, I think, isn't it? Especially when you're using external platforms to really optimize that. One thing that we've not touched base on, which I wanted to mention, was how do we get your Google ranking to be seen on AI?
So Google have now, I think it was July, they released Google AI mode, so you might have seen it. That they're basically, what they've done is they've seen that ChatGPT is dominating, so Google have got to intervene and have their own sort of thing. So Google AI pulls its data from Google Business Profiles for local business, which is great. So if you're consistent on your Google Business Profile, when Google AI becomes the main player in the game, you will be rewarded on Google AI. On ChatGPT and other language learning modules, content has to be structured in a certain way. And what I mean by that is when you're doing a blog, it has to be, you have to answer the question within the first sort of 2 sentences. You have to have short sentences. You have to have bullet points. Subheadings have to be mini questions around that main question. Also, schema is a very, very important thing. So schema, in the simplest way to explain it, is microdata that the language learning module reads. It's like it breaks it down. I would say if you was to go to a networking event and you had no name badge, no one knows, Google AI doesn't know who you are. You put your name badge on with who you do, people understand. So schema is your name badge, if that makes sense. Okay. So that's a very, very important thing. So you need to make sure that everything you're doing has the correct schema on it, and the way that you're writing the content on the blog and on the website, as well as the blogs, is it's got to be conversational. So you used to be able to do text that was very sort of keyword stuffed and keyword heavy and almost read unnatural, if that makes sense. Now you want to write your content like you're having a conversation, because AI picks up on that and it sort of trusts you more, if that makes sense.
This is it though, isn't it? Like, we're having this conversation now, and if there's a listener listening to this episode in probably even a year's time, it might be very much outdated.
Yeah, it probably will be.
So the thing is, it comes with a lot of our jobs, is we have to be very hot on what the latest changes are, because Google overnight, and I'm sure you've seen it many a times, even with Instagram and stuff, will change the way that they pick up information. So it might go from like humanized voice to actually what we prefer is just bullet points.
And it does do that twice a year. So Google do a core update twice a year, and they last about a month. And the last one we just had was in October. It was a real headache, like, because what happened was, like, if you look at your Google Search Console data, literally overnight, every single business's impressions like nosedived, and it's because the way that Google starts reading its data was different, because it's trying to incorporate AI. So it is changing all the time. And I say to my clients, like, every 6 months we will be having a different conversation. Another really, really important thing to get onto AI as well is through digital PR and brand mentions. So when someone asks AI a question, it doesn't just scan Google, it scans everything. So if you've got a presence on socials, on LinkedIn, if you're getting like community mentions on Reddit, that's a massive one. If you have a Wikipedia page, if you're doing digital PR, so you're getting mentions in news publications, huge. Because what happens is AI understands that you're a trustworthy brand that's in demand. Therefore, you must be important. So we're going to show that business to that person, if that makes sense.
I guess that kind of is very much linked in then to backlinks in a way, where you've got these other bigger sort of websites that are referring to your website, right?
Yeah. Backlinks are more for sort of like traditional SEO, because the way a backlink works is it's a hyperlink from one website to another, and it passes what you call link juice, a sort of like authority. And the more you have, the more the Google algorithm trusts your brand, and it increases your authority score. But with digital PR, you haven't necessarily got to have a physical link. You've just got to have your brand mentioned within that context, and then AI can still pick that up. So, there's
I guess it organically drives traffic to the website.
You can get you can get referral traffic. So again, like, prime example, we're working with a whiskey distillery up in Scotland. They've just done a massive digital PR campaign all around, have a whiskey tour, but also visit St Andrews golf course. So we've done them a news publication on about 600 various different news outlets. They're getting a huge amount of a spike in traffic because it's referral traffic, because people are reading these newspapers essentially online. Oh yeah, that looks good. And then they click on that, so and that's also sending positive signals, because all of a sudden your brand is getting more organic hits, if that makes sense.
So in a nutshell, it's basically just trying to get Google's trust, right?
It's literally that, like if Google doesn't trust you, and this is the thing as well, if you do too many things wrong, Google will not trust you, and it won't show you at all. So you have to play by the rule book. So Google have their guidelines, and I always say to people, like, the more you're consistent with it, you can do a few little, I wouldn't call them naughty things, but we call it sort of black hat, where you can potentially put a keyword in the business name just to give it a bit of a boost. But you can't do that on day one, because you'll just get suspended, and your website will tank. So you've got to be in the know of what you can and can't do, because if they suspend you, you're stuffed, really.
So sometimes doing SEO DIY isn't always the best thing, especially if you're going to hit hard.
I'd say a lot of my inquiries that come through are people that have buggered it up. They've tried to do something and they're like, my profile's suspended. What can you do? There is normally stuff that you can do to get stuff on, but it's because people have been trying to be proactive and not fully understanding what you can and can't do.
There's two things I want to end the episode on. One thing we've not really mentioned is domains. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is we've had this situation where a company's going through a rebrand, and they think it was okay to just get a new domain because it's part of their sort of, it's got their new name on it. But then, would you agree that they're almost starting from scratch when it comes to their SEO?
So you every website has something called a domain authority, which is your trust that is linked to that domain. So if you was to get, because people do rebrand and that, so if you was to get a new one, you can do like a 404 redirect, which does carry some of the SEO over. But I always say, stick to what if you've been in business for a number of years, you can start doing. You'll start generating organic traffic even if you do nothing the longer you go, because Google trusts that domain. So if you was to start again, I always advise against it if possible.
And secondly, which I've already just forgotten about, that's it. We want to end the episode on giving 3 tips to the listeners today that they're more than capable of doing it themselves, they're not going to hopefully bugger up in the background, what would you give those 3 tips?
Be consistent on the Google business profile. You can't go wrong with that. Treat it like you would a social media account. Once a week, be consistent. Promise you after a few months you'll notice a small difference. Have a look on YouTube, like literally just type in what you want to rank for. So local SEO, there is so many different videos out there, so just have the patience, have the time to dedicate yourself to it and understand it. And then also have a look at tools. If you want to do SEO yourself, get a free 7-day trial on SEMrush. Have a play around with it. There's nothing, it's not linked to your website. There's nothing you do on SEMrush that will make anything go wrong, but just start to understand how keywords work and why they're so difficult to get right because of how
I'm
many
sure there's
thousands
loads
there
of
are.
other platforms out there, aren't there?
There is. I mean, we've tried quite a few of them. So, but SEMrush is just what my go-to is. I think it's been one of the longest ones around there. It's very, very user friendly. We have dabbled with a few other ones. Ahrefs is a very, very good tool, but it's just I've always used SEMrush since day dot really.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, Dan.
Pleasure.
And we're going to end the episode there. Thanks for listening, everyone. And we'll see you again next week.
Lovely, thanks. Bye.
Bye.